Arkansas is preparing its death chamber for the fourth execution in 1 week Thursday night, bringing to an end the state's controversial attempt to run a conveyor belt of death in an aggressive burst of killings unseen in the U.S. more than half a century. Kenneth Williams is scheduled to die by lethal injection at 7 p.m. local time on Thursday, pending a flurry of last-minute legal appeals. A packed day of hearings in both state and federal courts had so far failed to secure for the prisoner any block on his imminent demise. Lawyers. The inmate have appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court to stop the execution from going ahead on grounds. Williams is intellectually disabled, and as such protected from being put to death. Under Atkins v. Virginia, the Supreme Court prohibited capital punishment for inmates with intellectual disabilities. In the petition to the nation's highest court, Williams, lawyers argue, he has been examined by several mental health experts who have all found him to be intellectually disabled. Yet the prisoner has repeatedly been denied a hearing on the issue. In effect, his claim to be protected by the U.S. Constitution from an unlawful state killing has never been addressed by the judicial system. The state has not offered any evidence or proffered an expert witness to rebut the substantial proof. Mr. Williams is intellectually disabled. To think he can be executed without any court review is simply unimaginable, said Sean Nolan, a member of the condemned man's legal team. Williams, 38, was one of 8 prisoners who were given death warrants scheduled in rare double executions over an one-day period this month. Arkansas Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson attempted to justify the mass execution, unparalleled in death penalty history by anything since 1951, by arguing a batch of the sedative midazolam used as the first of 3 drugs in its lethal injection protocol would expire at the end of April. In intense legal jousting that reached up to the U.S. Supreme Court on numerous occasions, 4 of the 8 condemned prisoners were eventually spared execution in this round of killings. 3 men have been put to death: Ledell Lee last week, and Marcel Williams and Jack Jones on Monday night in the first double execution in the U.S. in 16 years. Williams was sentenced to death for the October 1999 murder of Cecil Boren. He had escaped from Cummins Prison, the same institution in which he was set to be executed on Thursday night. At the time of the escape and Boren murder, he had already been serving a life sentence for the murder of Dominique Hurt in the previous year. After murdering Boren, he stole his victim's truck and crashed it into another vehicle, also killing its driver, Michael Greenwood. On Thursday, Kayla Greenwood, the daughter of the deceased driver, wrote a letter to Hutchinson pleading with him not to go ahead with the Williams execution. "When he took my father from us, Mr. Williams caused us all a great deal of pain," she said. "That does not mean that asking you to spare Mr. Williams is not the right thing to do. It is." She went on to reveal that her family had supported the condemned prisoner's own daughter, Jasmine, to visit him in prison before his scheduled execution. "Jasmine had done nothing at all but like me. She could lose her father," Kayla Greenwood wrote. "If Mr. Williams is executed, her loss, her pain will be as real as mine. I do not wish this on anyone." The families of Williams, other victims, Boren and Hurd, however, did not oppose his execution. In addition to the crushed schedule of so many executions in such short order, the individual killings carried out by Arkansas in the past week have been controversial. Eyewitnesses reported some of the prisoners were still breathing heavily minutes into the execution, raising possible problems with the first of the triple drugs, midazolam, that has been used in numerous botched killings in the U.S. As the Fair Punishment Project at Harvard Law School pointed out on Thursday, the 3 men already killed by Arkansas had potent claims for mitigation minus claims. The U.S. Supreme Court itself has made clear must be considered when deciding who is eligible. The ultimate punishment. In an amicus brief filed on behalf of Williams, the project wrote, Arkansas has executed 3 men, all of whom experienced unspeakable abuse and had significant impairments never presented to a jury. Ledell Lee appeared to have fetal alcohol syndrome, borderline intellectual ability, and a plausible but under-investigated innocence claim. But his conflicted counsel, drunk attorney, and mentally ill lawyer all failed to investigate this evidence. The brief went on. Jack Jones had bipolar disorder and a father who beat him and raped his sister. Marcel Williams had a mother who pimped him out to older women. Sex starting when Marcel was a preteen. The jurors who sentenced these men to death never heard this evidence. Jacob Rosenberg is a reporter for the Arkansas Times.